Wala, and you are watching Global Abundance Television, GAO TV, and Robin Hughes, the Chief Experience Officers at the Nectar Academy, and this is your future games. So, Robin Hughes, I mean, I want you to just give glimpses about your introduction again and tell my audience and your audience once again about yourself. And then what you have to say about mindset, action, and identity today is your topic. Over to you, Robin.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. So I have been a game producer for quite a long time, focused on games for change, games for social impact, and then I've got involved with education and created an academy here in Cambodia. And I'm very passionate about mindset and the impact that it can have on everybody, particularly at the intersection between learning and work, but also play and well-being. So I really want to make a difference for people. I want things to be better. So I'm focused on social impacts. I'm focused on how can we make a difference for people in their lives. And my work at Your Future Games is focused on tools and creating my goal and systems and processes. And my goal is what I'm working on is creating what I call a social experience platform, which is the next generation of social network or social media, right? And so that is bringing everything together, that synergy, that's bringing in all the technology, that's bringing in, linking that with offline and without technology. So just connecting everything together, because I call it connector. It's going to be the connector platform, and it's going to connect everything together. And so my plan is it will connect solutions like Rehan Academy and my own academy and many solutions out there all together into one hub that allows people to experience things in a much different way, that enables people to be able to visualize and experience their progress. So for example, we talk about, in the first part of learning, it feels like we are not making any progress. We're not going anywhere. So if we can visualize that and we can sort of get an experience of our progress, then we can be more motivated to learn, because we know that we are in fact making progress. We are going somewhere, even though it feels like we're not. It's like if we look at exponential curve, things or exponential growth on the first part of the curve, it looks like going nowhere, right? It looks like it's going nowhere, even though the growth rate is exactly the same. It looks like it's going nowhere until suddenly it takes off. So, that's what I'm looking at, is how can we deal with the intersection between learning and work, moving across from where people are learning across to where they're working. How can we synergize the world of learning, work, and play and well-being all together at once? How can we make our life synergistic so everything is working together so we can get more impact from the effort we're doing, from the time we're spending? How can we get more from it? And so, yes, what we're going to look at tonight, what the plan is to look at synergy in terms of identity and behaviors, which can be supercharged by technology.
Okay, I mean, my question is, I mean, how do we relate mindset, action, and identity together? It's a triangle. And I mean, my next question would be after you explain this connection about the technology, but that will be the second one, the last one, later on. I mean, now my question is mindset, action, and identity triangle. I mean, how would you just correlate with this?
Yes. So identity is who we are, right? That's who we identify as. When we say I am, they say, that I am is the two most powerful words in the English language, right? When we use I am, we're saying this is who we are. And identity, when we say we are a certain way, then that when we go to do something, then we think, is what I'm doing in alignment with who I am? Because who I am, if I am a teacher, what do? I teach. If I'm a builder, I build. Right? If I am an architect, right? I design houses, right? So whoever we identify is that determine actions, and if our actions are not in alignment, then we think then that feels dissonant, that feels abrasive, it feels like something's not right. Now, in terms of our action comes from our identity, right, to some degree. So when we have an identity as a builder, then we expect that we're going to go and build houses. We're going to go and build things, okay? But in order to do that, we need to think like a builder, right? So we need to have a mindset that we are somebody that builds. So that's where the mindset comes in. We need to have the mindset associated with that identity in order to be able to effectively take the action. Because if we don't have the right mindset, then when we go to build, we're going to run into problems, right? So that is just the mindset of a builder, mindset of the occupation. When we look at mindset in terms of abundance and rich mindset or growth mindset, then that is going to impact how we are as a builder. Are we a good builder, right? Because a good builder is going to think in terms of opportunities. They're going to think in terms of what can be done, right? Whereas if a builder has a poor mindset, they're going to think of what can't be done. So they're going to tend to get stuck in the problems and not be able to get out of them. And so that's going to limit them. Okay, so that's dealing with two different kinds of mindset aspects: the mindset of a builder and the mindset of rich mindset or a mindset of abundance is going to impact a mindset of a mindset as a builder to make it, I guess, a good builder mindset rather than just a straight builder mindset. Now, the other thing is, I would really like to hear an introduction from you about yourself, and if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you to looking at abundant mindset, that would be great.
Again, I'm Zafar and working here with the government organization, working for housing finance, and I've got 2 districts in my responsibility, and I look after the needs for the finance to anyone who's buying a house for the household or constructing one. So my limit is like 60 million Pak rupees. I just disperse for anyone whose admissibility criteria is met. Okay, and then now what I'm doing, I'm following Peter H. Diamandis for the last 3 months, and I'm working on abundant mindset, the mindset of abundance. And to me, abundance is the world of creating the world of possibilities for the future and for ourselves and for the generation next and the generation now we are. Like, I mean, as I earlier also talked about, that we are talking online right now, and we can see each other as if we are sitting in front of each other. So earlier 20 years it was not possible, but I mean, at that point of time somebody thought of it, somebody created that, this the same possibility, right, we are enjoying, somebody thought of it. So that's what that is abundant mindset. So creating the world of possibilities,
Yes.
and this is one example. Now, like the sun is producing energy, solar energy, that is 8,000 times more than our consumption needs of the whole globe. So I mean, what's somebody might have thought of some solar cells. Some so the conversion of their solar cell thinking is growth mindset, the abundant mindset. Now, coming to the abundance in general terms, as you tell us and told us in this podcast, and you were also telling about the growth mindset is the mindset of impact, that you want to impact people positively, like Elon Musk is impacting people, Imad Mustafa is, and Slim Ismail, and Go Muadat. These people are the leaders of generative AI. So they are impacting the world. No, look at the AI itself. AI itself has impacted the world abundantly. So now look at the world at AI, with AI and without AI. It's like, just like, I mean, with your mindset, your actions, and your identity with technology and without technology. That's the difference. That probably you'll be reviewing it later, as you said. Then you'll be reviewing that later. So what's it's about thinking bold. It's about thinking, being brave, that you think. It's emotional thinking. And then you, like, I mean, right now, uh, in year 2050, the food need will be 70 times more, because of the population that is exponentially increasing. So the food reserve right now we have, or the food resources we have, that we'll have to multiply these resources by 70. So the need in 2050, that just around the corner, that will be 70 times more than. So I mean, what we got to do, we need to think exponentially, not additively. It had to be exponential thinking, and your growth mindset, growth exponentially, not at, like, growth is not like that, one, two, three, adding one. No, it is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 120. And that way, I mean, it's like, I mean, your nth, it's like multiplying n times. So that's what is needed right now. If we don't, I mean, there will be huge, again, I mean, there will be huge shortage of water. Whereas, I mean, there is no shortage of water. But I mean, if we do not grow exponentially, if we do not grow technologies exponentially, so that's my mindset. I mean, I want to connect
Yes.
people all around the world who are tech, who are the people of tech, people, professional people, the engineers, the doctors, and the people. I mean, we need every person think with the growth mindset, with the positive mindset, and think exponential. We need things like, I mean, Grok 3, DeepSeek, and the ChatGPT is changing the world. In the same way, we need the other technologies to go leaps and bounds. I mean, it's not time of arithmetic addition, but exponential and geometric progression. Over to you.
Yes. So I was just thinking about it in terms of scarcity versus abundance is obviously a theme that we're going through, and I kind of covered it quite in the intro sessions, the first session, so we didn't end up having a whole session on it. But we might come back to that some stage to focus especially on that. I was thinking about, with your job, how you'll be dealing with people who have some constraints. They have limitations. There's so much that they can do with the money that they have, and then your company, they open up possibilities for them that they can borrow money, and then they can have things that they wouldn't otherwise. So in a way, you're opening up abundance for them through your work, right? I experienced that with my work. Through teaching, but also when I was training I was training my clients. I had a contract for training and people with low vision, so blind people, people that a lot of them were recognized as blind, and then we used reading machines or magnifiers to help them be able to see, right? So they have limitations, they have scarcity, there's a limit to what, they can hardly see anything, but then we can bring technology along and we can enable them to read the newspaper and read things that they want to read, or even like listen to it. And so that is a way of, where there's scarcity and limitations, bringing up abundance. So when we look at this whole thing of our mindset and the identity, mindset, and behaviors and actions and how that all affects each other, we have two ways, right? We can go for positive. We can go for growth, for richness, for abundance. We can have a really good mindset, or we can choose to have a very poor mindset, a very bad mindset, right? And when we have a mindset of scarcity and a fixed mindset, or whichever way you want to call mindset, whichever way you want to call it, it drags us down into a negative spiral. We take negative actions. They affect our identity. When we use language that is negative and gives and telling ourselves that identity is that we're a failure, we can't do it. When we're telling ourselves that, and our mindset is one of limitations, then we go down on a negative spiral, right? And if we look at that in terms of technology, we looked at a little bit technology and and in finance as well. We can use these things to enhance our experience of life, to create abundance for us, for ourselves, to help each other, to make things better. But also we can use it to make things worse, to buy into negative behaviors, negative actions, a negative mindset, and a negative identity. So they can drag us down, or they can help us build up, right? So when we look at technology, we are working with this. So we can use, for example, debt. We can loan people money and to buy a house, and then they can end up in more problems and more debt, and they can spiral downwards, right? So how we use this tool to help people can be helping people or making things worse. And so we try to design things so that we can help things. If we focus on social impact, we try to work it out so that it's helping people instead of making things worse, right? And so when we look at this, I mean, looking at this with my challenge as well in terms of asking, we can ask questions that help us to build into making things better for people, or we can buy into questions that make things worse. So, like Elon Musk, for example, his whole motivation and reason for why he does things is because of his perception that we have an answer and looking for a question. We have an answer looking for a question. So he sees things flip. A lot of people think they're asking for a question, that they're looking for the right question to find an answer, right? He sees it the opposite way around. And so he sees that what he needs to do is we need to go into space. We need to multiply. We need to be very abundant, right? And we need to go in space looking for what the right question is.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when he talks of going to space for abundance, he exactly means there are meteorites, they whole made of diamond, and if you go there and mine and bring it home, I mean, look at this. I mean, and he's thinking that there will be a time that when the population grows so out of proportion. So he's also looking for the colonies at Mars, and he's working for that. I mean, the huge But the problem he is facing there, since this is my again housing is my context, so I was also learning there is radiation there. This radiation is like the atomic radiation. So their challenge is to just there are two things: either he can make housing colonies underground, or he'll have to make the atomic shields to protect for the protection, and then once he is able to house the people there, then it's possible to prosper and explore more there. I mean, and once I mean there is, and there are signs of life. There is water, there is oxygen, and this is the planet. And once you can when you go there and look at that, then you'll have peace. You can take the people, like-minded people there, and he'll be all secure, and nobody can harm you any or can't. So that's the new world.
So I mean, it has an abundance aspect of it,
Yeah.
but it's an abundance aspect in terms of escaping from a world that's going to fall apart, right? It's and you know, I know in sci-fi as well, it has a lot of criticism, right? The world left destroyed and people escaping. So I know he tried to do some things to help the planet as well, but you know, in a way, it's a like give up. In a way, it's a give up. It's like
Can't.
giving up on solving the problem,
Yeah.
because we can't solve it. So that's it. So like when I think about it, and I think about the problems that we have as humanity. I mean, I come from a religious background, right? And right in the beginning, right, the story in the Bible is about Adam and Eve and the serpent, right? And there's a question asked. And so I'm always thinking about the questions that we ask. Where do they go, right? So the assumption that made is that God is not powerful, right? That if God says that if this is going to happen, that he's not true to his word. God's a liar, right? In order to listen to the serpent, you have to say God is a liar, right? So they're not thinking in terms of God is powerful, God is true, what he says is true, right? They're thinking backwards, and they listen to a lie, right? To a way out. They think that if they eat the fruit, they will have the knowledge of good and evil. It's true, they have the knowledge of good and evil, right? We know good and evil, right? And be like the angels. It's true, right? But we also died. God said we would die.
And I mean, look,
we did die, right?
look, the point is, where if somebody blame God to be liar, anyone who's liar cease to be God, can't be a God. God can't be a liar at all. I mean, this is not possible.
Exactly.
This is
So-
not possible. So
So my point is,
that's a mindset that scares mindset. Just because when their assumptions needs to
a limit.
yeah, that's limiting
Limited
belief.
God.
That's limiting
The
belief.
limited
Yeah,
God.
and the God,
belief. And so-
the God is abundant. You know, the God is abundant.
I'm very aware of that, right?
Yeah.
When we ask the wrong questions, when we ask poor questions, I mean, we say no such thing as a wrong question, but there are some poorer questions and better questions. There are questions that tend to lead us to poor conclusions,
True.
right? And there are questions that lead us to better conclusions.
That's the point.
So we look at, I look at like from my perspective, the focus on games for change, right? And we have a concept called gameful, making life full of game, right? So that's bringing game elements and bringing them into life for good. But then a concept before that is called gamification.
Okay, what's that?
Gamification is about, it's about bringing game elements was on how can we make money? How can we exploit the user's desire for fun and for how can we exploit the addictiveness of games to get more out of our customer, right? How can we get more out of our customer by using game concept, right? So it's not about improving the experience of the customer, business exploit? How can they take advantage,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a different focus. So that's what I'm saying, right? Technology is about why are we using the technology? What is it for, right? Are we using it to get positive outcome, to improve our mindset, improve our way of life, make things better for people? Or are we using them out of selfishness, out of greed, because we want more for ourselves? And when we look at social media, right, it's addictive. When we look at the approach that Netflix has to movies, everybody says this is a great, amazing user experience. And I say Netflix didn't bring an amazing user experience, right? They bring amazing user interface, and they use user experience to exploit its users to make them look for movies for a long time to try to get them to as possible, and then they end up watching something, right? So that the whole thing is geared around to get people to stay on their platform as long as possible, so that they end up watching other things before they find what they want to actually watch, right? So they make it hard for people to find the what they actually want to watch. I mean, I saw a solution many years ago where they had a whole personality-based website that helped you to find the movies that would, actually good for you, you actually want to watch, based on looking at your personality, looking at helping you find suitable movies that you're going to enjoy, right? Where Netflix is not designed that way. It's designed to drag you through looking through other movies first until you find it, because they have a limited amount of movies, right? And because they have a limited amount of movies, then to get you to, it's like at the supermarket as well, they design it so you have to walk as far around, so hopefully you'll see other things and you buy them on your way around. Who is that for? It's for the business. It's not aimed at helping the customer, right? So this is from a business perspective. How can we make more profit? From a social enterprise perspective, the focus is not how much can we make more profit, how can we help people? That's why I'm passionate about and social impacts. How can we make a difference from people? Okay, there are from my perspective, a lot of non-profits. They are not sustainable and they are not transparent, and so much money and stuff got lost on the way. So that's why my focus is social enterprise, because I believe that it is a better model that combines revenue earning and so that's my approach, is people through creating value that people are willing to pay for, and for anything that people use to help, so that to go to impact. Use revenue to maintain, and use if you have donations, if you have people wanting to help, then they go to make more difference, and the revenue goes to support maintaining that difference, right? So it's sustainable, right? So we can, this is probably branching out beyond technology, but also to systems and processes. How can we use smart ways to improve things for people? How can we can use systems and processes along with technology, right, to improve things for people, so that we can enhance people's identity, we can enhance their mindset, and we can help them to make it easier for them to have behaviors, right? And if we can encourage behaviors, then that flows through back into identity and mindset, right? So sometimes behaviors come first, right? And often that happens, that behaviors come first. So if we don't have to all focus completely on identity or mindset, we can actually build those with helping to encourage right behaviors, and those can tie in. So that's how we can make so much impact, because you can use technology to help this, right? We can use technology and systems and processes to help people build the right behaviors. They might have no desire to have good mindset. They might have no good desire to have identity. They might be in a bad place. but through helping them to develop the right behaviors, we can go into areas that otherwise would seem impossible, right? Maybe some people are full of hate, and because of their background, they're full of very bad negative mindset. Through the right behaviors, we can reach them, right? We can reach them over time. All they have to do is want to have a reading motivation to have those behaviors, and then that can tie in, and we can build that all the way to developing a positive mindset and developing a positive identity, right? So this is very powerful stuff, right? When we get things working together in synergy, there's an incredible amount of power, right? Actually, it's mind blowing, right? It's absolutely mind blowing because usually we don't think in terms of how everything connects together. We think about part of the picture, and we might think about how this interacts with this, or this interacts with this. But if we bring it together, all this abundance together to work together, what is impossible, right? What is impossible?
Nothing. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible, and
Yes.
I'll give my review tomorrow. We have just hit our limit for today. So it is amazing discussion that you've plunged into, that people are increasing their businesses, not the user experience. This is amazing, and I have also got some training on the stuff. So I will also be presenting this tomorrow. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Bye bye.
See you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.